We're planning another trip. This will be our big cross-country trip for 2021. On this trip, it's going to take us 2 months, and we're going to go through 17 states, 12 national parks, 3 state parks, 4 Harvest Host locations, and see at least 4 museums. We'll spend 10 nights mooch docking with relatives and friends, but there's a spoiler alert at the end. Hi, it's Lonnie with Crafty Traveler, and in this video I'm going to tell you all about our cross-country trip 2021. I've been watching YouTube, and many of the channels I subscribe to are talking about planning their summer trips. So I thought I would tell you about ours. We will be taking a total of 2 months. A month to drive across to Ohio to see family, and a month to drive home. Before I say more, I want to show you this quilt I made. It's a panel that represents all the national parks of the country. And we are planning on going to 12 of them. This red ribbon represents our route. We plan on visiting 12 national parks, going through 17 states, and staying at 3 state parks, and seeing many attractions and museums along the way. As we move along and visit those places, I plan on buying buttons or pins to sew on the quilt in those places that we go. You might see a little yellow sunflower for Kansas. I've been to Kansas before and I had the sunflower button, so I put it on there. I've also got one down here for Hawaii, and for both Kilauea and Volcano National Park in Hawaii. Been there a couple of times. Won't be taking the trailer there. On the back of this quilt, I have sewn a pocket. I don't know that you can see it, but it's right here, with Velcro to closure, that I have put needles, thread, little scissors, and some other buttons that I can sew on the quilt if I don't find specific buttons or pins. This is the trip I planned for 2020, but of course we couldn't go and had to cancel. In fact, I think this trip is better than the one I planned in 2020. Our route will take us down the middle of California, across Arizona to the Grand Canyon, up into Utah for the 5 national parks. Colorado for 2 national parks. Across Kansas, Missouri, Tennessee for the national park, up to Ohio, and there's a national park in Cleveland. And then across to Illinois, up to Minnesota, over to South Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho, through Nevada, and finally home. A total of 60 days. We plan on visiting at least 12 national parks. Unfortunately, due to crowds, I could not make reservation in the national parks. So I made them just outside of the national parks. And we will be taking Snickers, So dogs are not allowed to hike on trails in the national parks. And we're not real heavy hikers anyway. So we will be doing more scenic drives and a few short hikes in which one of us will stay with Snickers and the other one will take the camera and go see whatever site we are looking for. Ernie and I have gone to a few of the national parks before, and we will revisit them. Ones like Mesa Verde and Yellowstone and the Tetons. But Utah is pretty virgin territory for us. In fact, we're going to stay in virgin Utah. It's been over 45 years since we went to Yellowstone and Tetons, so that will be a new experience all over for us. In watching some videos, I think there have been some changes, not according to the geology of the area, but according to different stops and villages along the way. Besides the parks, there's been a few places that I'm really excited about visiting. One of the first places is Hamilton, Missouri. The home of Missouri Star Quilt Company. And in this tiny little town, there are 9 fabric stores. If you're interested, you can find YouTube videos on Missouri Star and Jenny Doan and how the Doan family basically saved the town from bankruptcy. We're also going to go to Paducah, Kentucky, and I'm excited to go through the Quilt Museum there. By the way, the Paducah Quilt Museum is a Harvest Host destination, although we were going to stay in a campground because I would like the hookups. Then we will be going up to Ohio and mooch docking in my brother-in-law's driveway for about a week. And my daughter will drive over from Illinois and visit with us then. And then she will leave and take my 2 nieces back to Illinois with her. We will leave the same day, but because we have the trailer, we'll be driving a little slower. And we're going to stop overnight in Elkhart, Indiana to see the RV Hall of Fame Museum. And they're also a Harvest Host, and we will be staying in their parking lot overnight. We'll stay at my daughter's a couple nights, and we will go with them to Palisades State Park in Illinois. And camp a couple nights with them. They'll have a tent and they even have their own spot, but we're close together. After the couple days we'll stay there, we'll drive up to Minnesota to my girlfriend Brenda's and stay on her property a couple of nights. Then we'll drive over to South Dakota, to Chamberlain, South Dakota, and another attraction that I've wanted to see for a long time is the Dignity statue. We will then continue to drive west through Wyoming and go to Devil's Tower National Monument. That's on Ernie's bucket list. So you can't take the dogs on the trail, so I'll have to give him the camera to hike up as far as he wants to and take video of that area. We'll spend 1 night in Cody, Wyoming before we arrive at West Yellowstone. And from West Yellowstone, we'll do day trips. I hope to do a day trip all the way down to Jackson Hole, through the Tetons, and then more video around Yellowstone. After leaving West Yellowstone, we'll drive south to Craters of the Moon. And I've been there before, but Ernie hasn't. So that'll be an interesting place to visit. Also want to show you my hat. I bought the little hat on Amazon, and then with my embroidery machine I just made a patch and sewed it on that says Crafty Traveler with a little butterfly. So you might see me in videos wearing this hat. You might be wondering what tools I use for planning our trip. The biggest tool I use is RV Trip Wizard. We do pay an annual fee for this, but it is one of the best ones that I've seen, and it shows all parks, campgrounds, and even some boondocking places. You can filter it to also include KOA and Passport America campgrounds, as well as National Forest. We also have Harvest Host, which I can look up on Harvest Host where their locations are, and I can copy and paste that to the search on RV Trip Wizard, and it will apply it to the route. I can also add different notes to that, what it's going to cost us for the night and places, and it also calculates gas. We have KOA membership as well as Passport America, and they can be located on the RV Trip Wizard program so that you know where those places are as well. We also subscribe to Good Sam for the 10% discount if we stay at a Good Sam park, and we also are AARP members, and I'm getting a discount at a couple of campgrounds with my AARP. We have an RV Garmin that we use for navigation, and that will also tell us about gas stops and rest areas. I have apps on my phone that include Gas Buddy and weather apps, so we can find things on the way and be warned if there is bad weather along the way. This will be quite a trip, and I'll be taking videos all along the way. I suspect I will have a year's worth of videos. I will continue to post videos on Fridays. But after we get back, I may have other videos from other trips, solo trips, day trips, and other things that might have to do with the RV or my art and quilting videos that I'm probably going to put on another day during the week. Maybe you could give me a hint or in the comments below about what day would be good for you to see these extra videos. Oh, and now for the spoiler alert. This video will be aired on July the 2nd, and we will have returned home. I hope you liked the video and give you some ideas about how to plan a trip. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Share, comment about what day you would like to see extra videos. And of course, subscribe. And don't forget the little bell below. And stay crafty when planning your trips. Thank you for watching.